tuned into the motherfucking greatest. Tuned into the motherfucking greatest.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the barn.
Yo.
Yeah.
We are talking one of my favorite topics. And I had the idea to do this because I like to talk about things that I'm passionate about. And this one has been in my life as long as I can really remember. So I want to welcome my buddy Dale here.
What up? What up?
Hey, Dale.
Hey.
And do you want me to call you Anthony?
Sure.
Anthony.
Sounds so foreign to me. It sounds so foreign to me.
Anthony. Yes.
AKA Twan.
Yeah, so Twan's, and have you ever heard that story that we found,
No.
we've been calling Twan for 20-something years.
I thought you got it from like Dre or whatever. It's an old school rapper. He's like, and now his name is just Twan.
I'm not sure where it came from.
Dre or Cube, somebody says that line.
It came from some middle school buddies. They just they started calling me Antoine for a while.
Oh, and then it rolled
and
off
then
to
it
Twan.
just rolled off to Twan, yeah.
So,
Love
I don't even know, maybe like 5 years. So we've been calling him Twan for 20-something years.
That's how I met him.
Well, 5 years ago, we realized that he told us that he doesn't like the name. We've been calling him that for
It was like
20-something
15
years.
Anthony, how dare you?
It was like 15 years ago.
Damn it. Okay.
I'm fucking 40 now.
So with you two guys here, and then we also, I invited another buddy who couldn't make it tonight, Dan. I could not think of a better pairing to talk about metal.
Yes.
Hardcore,
Appreciate
punk, death. I mean, there's all kinds of names that you can put on it. I like a little bit of all of it, I think.
Same here. Variety.
But when I was thinking metal, you guys were the first ones to come in my mind that I know you guys are metalheads, have been for many, many years. We've been metalheads together. We've been to many shows together. I'm sure that'll come up here in a little bit. But I immediately thought of you guys, and I knew if we were going to talk metal, it was going to be with you guys.
Appreciate that. It means a lot.
Sure.
It means a lot. That's awesome.
So why don't you start out, Dale? Why don't you tell us, like, I guess maybe the beginning, the birth of your metaldom.
Okay, so it was middle school when it happened.
Okay.
I was a little skate rat, punk rocker, through and through. Misfits, all that, Love Sublime, that whole vibe. I was just kind of in and out of everything. And then my buddy Nate Lane brought home from CD Warehouse Slipknot's first album and Static X.
Nice.
As soon as he turned on Slipknot in that CD player, I was like, this is my life now.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I will always be. This is what I will listen to every single day of my life.
So it kind of came from the punk world first.
Yes, that's what I was into. Absolutely. I said Slipknot, Static X brought me right into it and never turned away.
And it does feel like when you're a metalhead, I guess that's the term people use.
Yeah, that's what I say I am.
It does sort of feel like a group in a way. Like if I run into somebody else, I have a very professional job. We have professional jobs. When I run into somebody and they have, even just
The shirt.
Yeah, just this shirt, right? And it can be anybody. It could be, Metallica to Obituary or something.
Yeah.
I automatically feel a connection with that
100%. I will compliment your shirt and we're instantly in a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Like we relate instantly. I'm like, bro, I love your shirt. Throw up some horns. Like we vibe already.
It does feel sort of like a club. And maybe that's one of the reasons I like it so much or have liked it throughout the years. I mean, it's just a part of me now. If you know me,
Yes.
you probably know that about me.
Yes.
I don't hide it well.
Me either. The tattoos, the way I live my life, going to shows, like everything, the shirts. I don't like that's who I am, and I'm proud as fuck about it.
Absolutely.
I get a little suspect with some people, looking at somebody and then seeing like they have a metal shirt on. I'm one of those dudes like, name 3 fucking songs, buddy.
Thank you.
Name them.
Yes.
Name them, please.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing now is like, it's, you see all these like Kardashians wearing Misfits shirts and
Chanel West Coast and all this shit. And I'm like,
they're wearing like old Metallica
Yeah.
shirts and stuff. That's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm totally that guy. Like, do you
name one
really-
band member or name me 3 songs, and then we're really cool. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I never do it, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't-
but
I
in
don't
my
give two
mind-
shits. But in my mind, I'm
I'm
questioning that
judgy as
some
fuck
bitch.
out the
I
gate.
am. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a pet peeve of mine too. I'll see somebody on a late night talk show that doesn't listen to anything they're wearing,
Nope.
but I guess it's cool to have those vintage shirts now. And
Yep.
and
or I don't fuck with you if I see you wearing the band shirt you're going to see. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, never.
This is your first time, right? Like I instantly just.
Yeah, I never did. That was
I
never
can't.
down for that. That was
I
always
can't.
weird for me.
Yep. I never could. I never will. Like I said, I'm instantly like
That see, I guess I'm an opposite. You don't like it when you wear the shirt to the concert.
That's what you said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, uh-uh.
So-
that's like amateur hour to me.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, let's say you're going to a blues game. You going to wear some blues gear?
100%.
It's different.
That's a valid
know,
point.
I don't know why.
Me
I don't
either.
know why, but it's different for me.
I feel like because we're there, which it does relate to the Blues or Cardinals as well, but I feel like I'm already there to support them. I'm like, I want to show what else other bands I really love. Like, this is
Disclaimer.
also who I love.
Disclaimer: I don't fucking wear the shirts either.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
I feel weird.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I don't listen to them on the way up either.
Oh,
for the
sometimes
most
I
part.
will.
Sometimes I do too.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I do too.
Gets me
The
gets
weeks
me ready.
before, sometimes depends on if it's planned or not.
So we've heard about your knightdom. I don't know where you get knighted into the metal world. Twan, what about
Yes,
you?
yes.
And I know, disclaimer as well. Ours is going to probably run
all-
pretty parallel.
Yeah,
probably.
Probably pretty close together. But why don't you tell us a little bit of how you got into metal and really what you got you going?
So for metal, for what I started liking once I started getting a little bit older and I got out of, I was in middle school and stuff. It was mostly rap. I listened to, loved. At the time, that's when
Yes.
Snoop started getting big.
Good call.
And stuff like
Love
that. Loved Dr. Dre, loved the Chronic and all that stuff. But I guess before that, some dude that I met in like 6th grade passed me off a tape of a band called Body Count.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
Yes. Shout outs to Ice-T.
So, as far as what metal is today, it had to probably be that time when it was Chad.
Oh, I did?
He's like, sweet. Oh, it was me.
That was me?
So, yeah.
Oh, I love body count.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was,
So it
either,
makes
it,
sense.
it- it was
right.
either you or Mitch Bailey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either one.
Let's say it was me.
Let's
Yeah,
say it
yeah.
was you.
For the story, it
for the
sounds so much
it was
better. Yeah,
Chad.
yeah.
But that was probably the first exposure to what I would get into later in life. But as far as first exposure to quote unquote metal, I mean, it had to be the 80s, like Motley Crue and
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
As far as guitars, amps, and all that
Loud,
stuff,
heavy,
loud,
yes.
loud stuff,
Rock
it was
fast.
probably Motley Crue.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that up because I'm also a fan, and I think you guys are too, of extreme rap.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
it's really just extreme music because I also love extreme country. I love extreme music. And
Right.
I don't know what it is about me, maybe psychologically, but I just love when music and artists push the boundaries. And I feel like you get that a lot with metal, and it's very overt and it's really in your face kind of thing.
Right.
But I'm the same way with rap.
Right.
Now I don't listen to as much new rap, but the gangster rap of the 90s,
Oh, yes.
still love.
Easy-E.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Love
2 Live
Easy.
Crew even.
All NWA.
Yeah.
All Easy. Cube. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I got a Wu-Tang record
Yes.
over there.
Yeah.
hang
Yes.
up.
Shout out to Woo.
So it's extreme music, really. I think is really what gets me going. Mine started with my cousins. I have a younger sister, but I don't have any brothers. But my older cousins sort of felt like my older brothers,
Right.
and I wanted to be like them. They were super, cool in my eyes. So they would get into metal and they would get into music, and I would just latch onto it.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard Pantera, I was in my cousin Dwayne's garage, and it was Cowboys from Hell, and
Oh
I don't
my
know
God.
what year it was, but it
Yeah.
had to be 93 because I know it was when Vulgar Display was out. Because once I heard Cowboys from Hell, I got into Vulgar. But it would have been around that time period for sure when I really got into it. And when I get into something, I really get into it.
Same here, buddy. I'm 100% head first. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pantera was my first love. I loved Metallica.
That's a great love to have. This love.
Yes.
Shout out. yeah.
Fitting.
Yeah, it's very fitting.
So that was kind of my journey into metal. And then from there, it was like I was on steroids. I was on metal steroids. I wanted to know anything and everything. I read, back in those days, you read, CD liner notes and lyrics. And I tried to get into the lyrics as much as I could. And then I tried to find out what other bands they were touring with, or maybe that they even thanked in their liner notes. I want to thank this band, this band. And
So who are they now? Why are they thanking them?
yeah. And I was super into And I still like to do this a little bit, although I'm 40 something years old, so it doesn't happen as much. But trying to find the bands that maybe other people haven't heard of, and try to get into them and maybe even share that out.
You guys,
and spread that out.
like, and when anyone asks me about being a metalhead, and I'm always like saying we go this show, I'm always like, these two have like shown me the way, like pass the torch. Because anytime I go to a show, I'll of course be there for the headliner, and you haven't heard of such and such, like that's opening, dude, they'll fucking blow your doors off, and then now I love them every time.
That's a great point because I don't know how many shows I've gone to. I don't even care about the headliner.
Yeah, right.
I'm there usually for an opener.
Yes.
Not anymore, obviously. But back in those days.
Like you said, and bands I'd never heard, I'd be like, yeah, cool, and I'm here for whoever. And then I'd watch that first, and I'm like, fucking Twan and Chatterite again. Guess I'll go buy that CD.
I'm the same way, and the older I get, the more, if I don't like the headliner, it kind of works out well for me because I can scoot out after.
Be in bed early.
Be home early. So that's kind of our way to metal, and in this next segment, we're going to really get into it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some shows. We're going to talk about some bands. I literally have chills right now just because I think of all these great times. And even when we started putting these lists together, man, it was so hard to choose them. So when we come back after this break, we're going to break down a little bit more further. Breakdown.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
Breakdown
See you after
City.
this.
This video is brought to you by the Wellness Investors. The Wellness Investors are a collective of individuals with uniquely diverse backgrounds. Our goal is to inspire, motivate, and entertain. Visit thewellnessinvestors.com and start enhancing your life, one sector at a time.
Welcome back to the Vulgar Display of Podcast. We're going to get sued for that logo for sure.
It's going to happen.
So worth it,
it'll
dude.
Be, it'll be
worth
fine.
it. Yeah.
When I look at it, it reminds me of something. I just can't pinpoint what it is. But yeah, welcome back to the Vulgar Display of Podcast. We're talking metal. Love metal. We're metalheads, have been for many, many years.
Yes.
This one's going to be tough, fellas. I know this for sure because when I put this list together, it broke my heart leaving some off.
No, dude, I know. It's so crucial.
What we're going to first talk about is festivals, metal festivals. And it doesn't seem like that there's as many as there used to be.
I think there are.
Okay.
It's just instead of like the touring, like you don't have your Ozfest, you don't have your Mayhem
That's what
Fest.
I was going to say. Yeah.
But you do have your Louder Than Lifes and your Welcome to Rockville type destination type festivals.
That's what you're saying. You have to like travel to that
Yeah,
destination.
you just got to go there.
It doesn't
and
come
it's-
to your city
it's
like a Warped Tour and all that.
Yeah, like a 3 or 4 day festival
Yeah.
anymore, as opposed to an entire touring.
So they come less to you these days.
Exactly.
Yes, very
And
much
you
so.
have
Yeah,
to go to
go
them.
to them,
And
yes.
even the Slipknot, what do they call
Knot
that?
Fest.
Knot Fest.
The Knot Fest and all that. And that does tour some.
Which we got lucky a couple years ago because they came
Yeah.
with Volbeat and Gojira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer day.
We're from the St. Louis area, so we've been lucky. We're kind of in that Midwest area, and if you're coming from the East Coast to West Coast, if you're not playing St. Louis, most likely you're playing Kansas City.
Yeah.
Because if you just look logistically, if you were making a tour map, I mean, it makes sense that that's going to be one of your stops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that there is a good heavy metal
I was
community
gonna say, I
in
think
St.
we come
Louis.
heavy. Yeah. Like that's why they keep coming back.
Yeah.
Because we do show up.
And I've even heard bands say that in interviews, shouting out specific venues that maybe they played in the past and had a lot of people show up.
Yeah.
So we're talking metal festivals. Who wants to go first? I know this is tough. Actually, this
Dude.
one was the easiest one for me.
This one was really
Yeah.
easy for me
Same
too.
here.
Dale, why don't you go ahead and go first? So if we're talking metal festivals,
Yes.
what's one of the best metal festivals?
Hands down, without a doubt, Ozfest 2000 because of Pantera. The first and only one time I got to see Pantera. Unreal. The line, I mean, like Incubus was there, Kitty. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And then Pantera comes out, Dimebag hits one chord, every tarp on the ground gets ripped up, dust cloud. I mean, like 20 mosh pits turn into one. I see like numerous wheelchairs, crutches. I mean, girls screaming, running to the back fence, getting pressed against it. I got my ankle broke in like 3 different places. I mean, it was just mayhem, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Those Ozfest were outdoor amphitheaters.
Yeah.
And I've been to several around the country. I know you guys have too. but they're all pretty much set up the same way. You have the seats towards the front, which has kind of an overhang, and then you have the lawn.
Yes.
It gets a little rowdy on the
Yes.
lawn. Again, the older I get, the more I want to stay away from the lawn.
Yes. Or towards the back section of the lawn.
Exactly.
Yes.
These days, I'm one of those girls running away
Same
from all
here.
that
Same here. Or I'm running to my seat.
But there was a time where I was kind of right in the middle of that.
Because that's where the party was. Yes.
Yeah, and I actually attended Ozfest 2000. Saw what
Amazing.
you're talking about, Twan. I'm sure you did as well.
I was there.
It was like a tornado. Like I said, just dust and tarps and people, bodies everywhere.
Yeah, Twan, you want to go ahead? The festival, metal festival that really got you and sticks in your memory.
Well, I mean, there's two, but I'm gonna have to go with the first one, which I hope this doesn't rain on your parade. Ozfest '97, and this is gonna sound really familiar, but Pan friggin' Terra.
Yes. That's all it needs to be said.
This was in the early days of festivals, right? They didn't know how to manage them yet. So you were really stuck out in the sun and the heat all day long. So, I mean, we're talking stupid, awesome lineup, right?
Yeah.
Machine Head, Fear Factory, Typo Negative, Ozzy, Pantera.
Yes.
I mean, that in itself for your first metal festival
Yes.
is
Life-changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is exactly that. You know, seeing Phil come out with Typo Negative and do a song,
Yeah.
you know, just for a little bit was phenomenal.
Yes.
But when Pantera came on, it was absolutely terrifying, honestly. They came on, and every person who has been at that exact venue and that show tells the same story about how the entire center of the lawn became one big circle pit. And it was nuts trying to even get.
Yeah.
Like I ran down, you know, that little pathway into Riverport.
Yeah. In between the seats.
In between the seats and the lawn. We bailed down there for a minute when it first started because we needed safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But man, what a freaking
I
set.
see the vision exactly you're talking about because that's the same thing I saw in 2000. Like it's just,
Yeah.
you know, one chord and everybody knows it's Pantera and
one
everyone
chord.
blows up.
Yeah.
And I want to say that they opened up with Cowboys from Hell on that set.
Dude, I could get Alzheimer's and never forget that vision in my life. I swear.
I'm same. Yeah.
So you said you had two in mind. You want to talk about your other one because that, yeah. You want to talk about the other one?
The other festival,
Yeah.
Ozfest '98. Just because of all around, what a phenomenal lineup it was, especially for that time. Yes, it's new metal-y. I don't care. I liked new metal when it was out.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was what I was into at the time. But again, you had Tool,
Oh my gosh.
Ozzy, you had Soulfly,
Ooh.
you had Seven Dust, Cold Chamber,
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit,
Yeah.
and
the
then
time.
Prime.
Motorhead.
Counterfeit is one of the best songs I'll ever listen to in my entire life.
What's that? Oh,
Counterfeit
yeah.
by Limp Bizkit. I don't care what anyone says.
I
that
was
first
new metal.
album is amazing.
I love new metal.
Yeah.
And I still like,
Yeah.
you know, some of that old new metal. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
new metal, but
Right.
And then, you
Yeah.
know, the side stage was these young bands, System of a Down,
Yeah.
Incubus. So that one was
On their rise. And then they took
killer.
over.
And then you had, you know, Life of Agony with Whitfield Crane.
that's
singing.
right. Yeah. And Motorhead.
Motorhead was playing.
Yeah.
You had Chad at Life of Agony.
yeah.
That's his whole heart.
Love Life of Agony. Life of Agony was, you know, kind of the first band where it seemed like it was really emotional. His lyrics were really emotional. You know, you had your Panteras and your Metallicas, and it was like tough and like I'm a bad dude kind of thing. And I
Right.
love that. Don't get me wrong, but with Life of Agony, it just kind of touched me in a different way. That it, like, you know, he was singing about really sad stuff.
Yeah.
And I really connected with the lyrics. Not that my story is any similar to whatever his was, but I just love that he was putting himself out there so much through
Right.
the lyrics.
Right.
And-
Not too cool.
Not only the lyrics of it, but he was the only frontman at the time who was singing over heavy guitars. He didn't scream one time
Yeah,
about that
right.
on most of that
Right.
album.
They're such a unique band because, you know, they're a New York band and they came up in that New York scene.
Yeah.
And almost in a hardcore kind of scene, but he was always so different from any of the other singers that he would sing, and he had a beautiful voice. You know, he was kind of the first, I think, one of the first in that time era of just really being able to sing.
And she is beautiful now.
She is. And Against Me singer is gorgeous.
Yeah. Right.
There's no surprises here for me. Ozfest '97.
yeah.
I was a young buck. I don't know how old I was, but it wasn't very old. I was right there next to Twan. I was running for my life as well. And it was Pantera. I remember other parts about that show, but it was Pantera.
Yep.
I will forever remember that. And it was, in a weird, it maybe sounds a little bit cheesy. It was life-changing.
Yeah.
In a way, because I've never seen a band to this day, and I've seen hundreds of bands since, been to a lot of shows since then, and I still have not seen a band.
The reaction. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a good point, because it was just as much about the fans and the reaction as it was the actual band.
Yes.
Because if you think about one of those amphitheater type setups, the lawn section, the section, that's where it gets a little rowdy, and man, it got rowdy. I don't even think what happened at Ozfest 97 with Pantera should be legal. I mean, it felt
It's probably
like
not.
a riot.
That's assault, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
It felt like
It
a
really
riot.
is.
But in the same time, you know how those pits are. We've been in some, right?
Yeah.
It does have a community type feel to it.
Right.
Where an outsider's eye that's not a metalhead looks at that, they might see it as like an act of aggression, and you will have your occasional fight that breaks out or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is a community type feel.
Yes.
Ozfest 97 with Pantera did not feel like community.
No,
It felt like,
at all.
felt like a riot.
Yes. Yes. Every man for themselves.
So I'm not surprised that Pantera is on all three of our list. And Ozfest 97 was crazy. 98, I was there for 98. I was there for 2000.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever missed an Ozfest other than the very first 96 that was just a one-time show. I'm not sure, but I tried to make it to all of them.
Yeah. I went to everyone after that one because that was like my
Yeah,
freshman year of high school. And then after that, I went to everyone till they were done.
Yep, I went to everyone until there was 1 year they stopped coming to St. Louis, and then after that it became weird. They were trying to all gimmicky and stuff, like doing free tickets. And
Yeah. And then it turned to Mayhem Festival, and then that even has shut down recently.
And there was a lot of Mayhem Fest that I really
Me too.
liked.
Solid lineup.
But the festival, out of the subjects that we're picking here, that one was the easiest for me. It was Ozfest 97 right away. I didn't even have an honorable mention, although Mayhem
either.
Fest, a couple of the Mayhem Fest were really good.
Yeah.
So, a couple of the late Ozfest I really liked. The one where that it was in the parking lot and like Glassjaw played a few
Yes.
times. And,
Yep.
and some of those I really enjoyed, but a lot of the Mayhem Fest I really liked as well.
For sure.
This one was a little bit tougher. So we're talking mid-size clubs on this one. So this is probably clubs that seat less than 1,000. This, I would say, is where you're probably going to see more shows, right? We're not in the huge type amphitheaters that seat however many, and not in the small clubs that are like, 500 or less. This is kind of your mid-size club.
Yeah.
What do you guys have on your list as far as some of the best shows you've seen in a mid-size club?
I'm sure this is no surprise, but Lamb of God at Pops.
Okay. What year would that have been? Because
That
that's
would've
probably
been-
happened a few times. Right?
Yeah, that's happened numerous times. But I was a junior in high school, and me and Brandon Moses on Mother's Day night, but on a school night, went up just to see Atreyu because we loved Atreyu.
Yeah.
We come walking in, and who do we see? You two. And
Sounds
so
about
Atreyu plays or whatever. Lamb of God's obviously headlining. I'd never heard a single song by them. And, like usually you guys are like, you need to stay for Lamb of God. And I'm a little nerd. Like I got school in the morning, but I'll stay for one song. Okay. They had their speakers with duct tape on them. I mean, just junk,
Baby.
trash. Yes,
Baby.
baby amps. I mean, just junk. Like I said, red, orange tape all over. I'm like, okay, I'll stay for one song and leave. After half a song, me and Brandon's eyes were big as $50. We're like, we're never leaving. Like, and ever since then,
So that one almost made my list.
dude,
Lamb of
amazing
God
show.
was so good that night.
Yes.
and seeing them in the club like
So
that,
tight. And a small club, no one there.
so tight.
Yes.
It just sounded so good. There wasn't a lot of people there. I remember being, maybe 20 feet from the stage or whatever.
And we had a table sitting
had a
at
table,
We'd
yeah.
stand up and throw our horns up, and then in their breaks, we'd sit right down. I mean, it was unreal.
So that one actually almost made my list, and that was
Such a great show.
We've seen Lamb of God recently last summer. Last summer, right?
A couple months ago.
And they were really good as well.
Dude, every time I swear, like they up the bar, and they are one of the few bands that sound better live than on an album. Because like that next day, I was at Best Buy and bought fucking two of their albums right off the top, and I'm like, these are amazing, obviously. But I'm like, last night they killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it. So amazing.
So I've seen them, dozens of times, but I still think about that show that was at Pops in St. Louis.
Yes.
That mid-sized club, and man, they just sounded so good. I was really into them at the time. That we have a buddy that talks about this a lot, but seeing a band right when you're really, really into
Yes.
them that kind of
It
sticks
grows
out in
your love.
memory.
Yes.
Yeah. Your love just kind of grows from there. So that one almost made my list because that was a killer show, killer set, killer performance.
Yes.
Sounded so good. That was a good one.
That just opened the door. Like I said, I'd never heard a song, and then when I seen them, I was like, "This is it!" Like incredible.
So I'm gonna co-sign on Dale's for sure because I was there. I witnessed
Holler.
it, and it
Yes.
almost made my list.
Dude, such an amazing night.
Twan, what about you? Midsize club venue show. Who's on your list?
The Dillinger Escape Plan, Every Time I Die, and Zayo.
Wow.
All at Pops.
My gosh.
Wow. How'd that building survive?
I don't know. I don't know.
Good
but,
grief.
man. But that was, like you said, in the heyday of me liking all those bands.
Yeah. You said you had another one.
Yes. So it was one of those. This is what American metal tours have to offer, and it was Unearth, Shadows Fall, Lamb of God, and
Kill Switch? Was that Snowcore?
Kill Switch.
Was that
No, it was
Snowcore?
Kill Switch. No, it was just like a.
Oh,
It was most of them are all from like the Boston area anyway. Like,
okay.
and so
But
it
I
was
think we were
Shadows
there.
Fall.
Was it at Pops as well?
Yeah, it was at Pops.
Yeah.
All around, just for again at that time, the American metal scene popping up. Those four bands were probably at the peak of it.
Absolutely.
So that one was killer. And plus the girls from Kitty came down from Chicago.
Yeah, and they were standing in the front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they-
And they were out there singing with Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. Yep.
Yeah.
I
But I
there.
remember Shadows Fall were doing Destroyer of Senses, and Randy came out and
Yes,
sang that with.
killed
That's
it.
what I loved about that time frame too.
Everybody had each other's back.
You had collaborations out the
Yes.
wazoo. You know,
Yes.
it was and especially those Ozfest. You couldn't go to that side stage without seeing some kind of collaboration between all the other bands.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was really into that kind of whole scene.
Yes.
And I think I might have even been at the show you guys are
Yeah.
talking about, and I really enjoyed that one. We ready for mine?
Yes. Bring it.
Tuan, I know you were at this one because you're standing next to me. But Deftones and Glassjaw at the American Theater in St. Louis. And it was the first time I had seen Glassjaw. We had heard Glassjaw, but weren't super into him. I'm not even sure if the album was out, maybe like a sampler or something.
Yeah, it was a couple songs.
Yeah, it's like a sampler or something. And I was like, pretty excited to see them, but we
Yeah.
were really there for Deftones.
Sure.
But both bands that night were incredible. Glassjaw was just so raw and
Yes.
so different. Again, we're talking kind of like personal, emotional lyrics. He was one of those that really just kind of put himself out there, and I've always appreciated that. He literally, Antoine, I'm sure you'll remember this, Daryl from Glassjaw
Love
at the end of the
Daryl.
set, he's a maniac at times,
Yeah, he
right?
is.
He's hitting himself with the microphone over and over and over, probably 20 times.
Yeah.
Just, I don't even know why, but
Right.
it was intense, crazy wildness.
Right.
Knocks himself completely out. He falls flat on his face on the stage.
Good for him.
The band,
Yeah. Sell out, player. Go all in.
the house lights come on. He's
Yeah.
still knocked out cold on the stage. The band starts taking off the amps and the drum set over the
As
top
he's
of him. Right, he's still knocked out. He finally, we're watching all this unfold. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He finally comes to, realizes kind of where he's at. He looks at the crowd and gives a little bit of wave, thank you kind of thing, and then walks off. I was like, what did we just see?
It was
He just
insane.
died. Yeah.
It felt like one of those musical moments where you're like, everything is about to be different.
And that emotion, he was just 100%
Yes.
sold out for it.
Yeah, you can't fake that. He wasn't, there was nothing that
he don't do
was
this
faking.
every night.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was that night feeling it.
Yeah. I'm sitting there in shock for several minutes, maybe hours. Like, what did we just see? But I knew it was something.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. My mind was still trying to wrap around it, but I knew it was something. I had the wherewithal to know, like, that's not normal, but that's also really something special. And then the Deftones played after that. And I've seen the Deftones countless times, a bunch of times. That was by far the best I've ever seen them, even to this day. Time period would have been 2000.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not sure. I'm not good with dates and all and years and all that, but that one sticks out for me. I think I have the flyer, maybe even hung up somewhere in here. I definitely still have the flyer, but that one would just knock me on my butt. And like you're talking about, once I had that experience, I feel like me and Twan were like, our duty in life was to go tell everybody about the Glassjaw.
Yeah.
That was on July 6th, 2000.
Okay.
Then I saw, speaking of Glassjaw, the first time, 9 a.m. at a Warped Tour, standing there with Twan, and they changed my life that
true.
day as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everybody's like, oh, it's the opening band, blah, blah. People still walking around buying their merch and T-shirt. And Twan, of course, like, hey, let's go over here and watch Glassjaw. I'm like, who? And then he's
Yeah.
hanging himself by the microphone cord, like second song in, jumping off everything he can jump off of. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I love them now.
And that's one of those bands where I still couldn't tell you what kind of music they play.
No,
Nope.
that's why, because they're in one of my next.
So let's get into that one real quick. Small club. So we're thinking less than 500 people maximum. That time where you got to see that band maybe before they hit it big. Maybe they're road dogs and they're back in the small club for whatever reason. But Dale, tell us about your small club experience and one that sticks out in your brain.
Got to piggyback off the Glassjaw.
Okay.
Glassjaw, when we went to Memphis and saw them at the High Tone,
God, that
because
was
it was so shitty in there.
That was a shit
It
show,
was a
man.
shit show, trash. The stage was a foot off the ground. I mean, it was way too crowded. It was just that pandemonium made me love it. And they weren't up and coming. Like you said, they were road dogs. They had been out. I'd loved them for years, and we all planned this big old trip and went down there. That was part of it too. The people we went with.
Yeah.
And had to go, but that small venue, and then at the very beginning, everyone rushed the stage, and Daryl had to completely stop, tip your bartender, and say, "Hey, we are not going to be that band that's on Channel 5 News. Stay the fuck back."
I still don't know why they played that club.
Yeah, I had
it made
no
sense.
business.
Once we got
being
in there,
there.
it made no sense.
We're in my kind of barn area. It's not maybe twice the size of this or something.
Way
It was
too
not-
small. When we walked in, all of us looked at each other like Glassjaw's really here.
Yeah.
This
But
is the
it was
right
incredible.
place.
Yeah.
Gorgeous
So
wife.
mine, I just want to preface this by I wasn't old enough to really appreciate this show
Okay.
other than Glassjaw. So it was at the Galaxy, and it was Glassjaw, and they opened up for Converge.
Wow.
I remember
At
that.
the Galaxy.
Yes. So, I mean, just that mayhem. I remember there was somebody, for some reason, one of our buddies was with it, who's normally not with us. And he was
Joe Elliott.
Joe Elliott was
Oh,
just
gosh.
so confused
Yeah.
about this one person, like dressed up in these, like the Gimp, I guess, from Pulp Fiction. I have no idea why that person was there.
Right.
But that show, at the peak of Glassjaw, that was, again, set list. They're
Yeah.
going to play your songs. And then Converge are just insane live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid combo. And the
I've seen
Galaxy.
them a few times before, actually after, that I really got to appreciate them.
Right.
At the new Creepy Crawl was a crazy good show.
Yeah.
They had a really good set list.
Galaxy
And
had the
then-
big red pillars in the middle. Am I
Yes.
remembering
Yeah.
that right?
Yes,
Okay.
they
okay.
did.
I thought so. Yeah.
Love Converge as well. I mean, you guys are talking my language. That's one of my favorite
sure.
heavy bands. I've seen those guys a few times. Some of the times that you're talking about, and they absolutely destroyed. A great band. They didn't make my list, but they could have easily. Mine, and I actually have the flyer up right there. It's Hatebreed and Not Waving But Drowning and Calico System at the Creepy Crawl.
Yes.
Twan, you were there.
I
don't
was
know
not.
if you were.
I was not. Mm-mm.
Hatebreed, they've kind of taken the Pantera torch and ran with it.
Absolutely.
I feel like. They're kind of the face of metal
Yep.
these days and the sound of metal these days.
With their live shows, the brotherhood, the camaraderie,
Yeah.
that punch that they deliver.
Yes.
It's like you said, that they're taking that torch. And Jamie Josta leading the way. Like, who could you not love more than Jamie?
He's kind of the face of metal these days, and I'm fine with that.
Absolutely, all day long.
Seen Hatebreed dozens of times. I've
don't miss
never
'em.
I've never had a bad experience seeing them.
Nope.
They always deliver. They're always good.
Yeah.
You can talk about road dogs. I mean, I can't think of many bands that's went north, south, east, west, all over America and beyond. More than those guys. They've put the work in, and you can tell.
Yes, just shut down the metal tour of the year with Lamb of God and Megadeth and everybody, and now jumped on tour with Parkway Drive. Like
Yeah.
where are we going next,
That
boys?
lineup is
Unreal.
stupid good.
Yes, I agree.
Stick to your guns. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh
we're
my
all
gosh.
we're all going to that. That's like a
Yes.
summertime.
May 26th, I
Okay,
believe.
Good.
Yeah.
So mine is Hatebreed with Not Waving But Drowning. Not a very well known. If you're not from the St. Louis area, you might not know them. Although that they toured a little bit back in the day.
Used to love them.
Killer band
With a killer name
Yeah.
that goes overlooked. That name is incredible.
Yes. Hatebreed and Not Waving But Drowning at the Creepy Crawl. If you're not familiar with the Creepy Crawl is sort of the Midwest version of CBGB's,
Gotcha.
right?
Yes.
Nailed it.
The old Creepy Crawl.
Yeah.
If you were a rock metal act, just had a little bit of a following, you played the Creepy
They'd have
Crawl.
the local nights, and then you'd go in and play, and anyone big come through, they're like, hell, open for them.
Yeah.
Jump up there, kids. It was amazing.
Yeah. I got a couple honorable mentions that I have to mention. Twan, you were here for this one. We saw He Is Legend.
Ooh, shout out. He is legend. Micah Pogomiller, where you at?
Down in southern Missouri at a skate park. And I don't know why they were playing the place. I don't know why they were there. But it was one of the most unique sets that I've ever seen in my life. Literally, I wasn't sure. This set might be going on still to this day.
They probably just started it over again.
They just absolutely destroyed the place. Had a lot of people kind of scratching their head, and they're one of those bands that's kind of a head scratcher.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're a full-on metal hardcore band or a rock
label 'em.
band or a hip. I don't know what's
You can't
going on
label
there.
them.
Yeah, but it's a band I really, really like, and I really like all kind of aspects of them. I like when they're real heavy, and it's the I Am Hollywood.
Yes, I Am Hollywood.
And then I like when they slow it down and they make it a little bit softer,
Yeah.
and they put a lot of melodies behind it. So we saw them. The set kind of ended, I think.
It was
We're
very
still there.
confusing. It was very confusing.
We have a buddy, Chuck, who cracks me up. And for some reason, we were on different sides of the venue. And the set is over, I think, but then there's still some people playing and some roadies taking off the equipment. So you felt like it was over and the house lights were on. And I look over to my buddy Chuck, who's far away on the other side of the venue, and he has this look of confusion on his face. And it occurred to me like, holy shit, I don't know what they're doing, but what they're doing is really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm into it.
And I can see his mental progression of what the fuck is this to like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
I love this.
I see that happen on his facial
Yeah.
expressions because I look over there all wide eyed like, holy shit, are you seeing
Are
this?
you feeling what I'm feeling right now? Yeah.
So that one always sticks out to me. It was, and Twan, you were there too. We had a great time. We actually hung out with He Is Legend a little bit that night.
Hey, not to play spoiler alert, but meant to tell you this. I was watching Scream the other night, and they're in a pool hall, and on the very back wall, there's a fucking He Is Legend poster hanging up.
Really?
If I was at my house, I would have paused it and sent it to you. Yeah, I saw it, and I was just like, okay, take my money. Like, I love this movie now. Yeah.
Wow.
And another He Is Legend thing is one of the best song titles ever, which is my favorite song by them, is either they left their Christmas lights on all year round or they're all dead.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot. We've talked a lot about some of these best performances. We'll come back after this break and we'll talk a little bit more metal if you guys are good with that.
Hell yeah, let's fucking go.
All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be back after this.
This video is brought to you by the Wellness Investors. The Wellness Investors are a collective of individuals with uniquely diverse backgrounds. Our goal is to inspire, motivate, and entertain. Visit thewellnessinvestors.com and start enhancing your life, one sector at a time.
Welcome back to the Vulgar Display of Podcast. You just heard from one of our sponsors, maybe.
Is that the name of the sponsor? I'm Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, they had a question there. I had a question mark.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, gotcha.
So we just got tickets to this the other day.
Yes.
We have one coming in May. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I'm super excited for this
Me
show.
too. I wish it was tonight.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
Tickets went on sale at 10 a.m. At 10:06, I had mine in pocket.
Yeah.
Like,
I've still got to get
so
mine.
ready, dude. So ready.
Parkway Drive,
Yes.
the headliners.
Yes.
On the
Hatebreed. Stick
Oh,
to
I've
your
heard of them.
guns. Yeah, heard of them once or twice.
Parkway Drive, Hatebreed.
Black Dahlia Murder.
Black Dahlia Murder.
which
Stick to your guns.
I
Yep.
love them.
Yep.
I love
Seen
Black
them a couple
Dahlia Murder.
times. They go hard live.
Yes.
So there's a couple bands on there that I would maybe even consider newish type bands, right?
Yeah.
They're not the Panteras and the,
Exactly.
and the Metallicas
Lamb
and
of
whatever
Gods, all the
else.
stuff we've been
Right.
grown on.
Right. So they've come out in the last 10 years or so. But Parkway Drive,
They have my heart and soul.
yeah.
They are so fucking good.
And that's a tour that's going across the United States, but the stop in St. Louis we're going to, and they're playing a really killer place that I've only been to recently. It's a fairly new place called The Factory in St. Louis, and it is an absolute awesome venue that I am
Gorgeous.
super stoked.
I'm super stoked to see it once.
gorgeous.
Twan told me how
Yeah.
incredible it is. I'm ready. I'm pumped.
I'm really stoked. When I saw that lineup,
Me
and saw
too.
that was announced. I'm
Me
like,
too.
I'm all.
I was
I'm-
6
yeah.
to midnight. I was like, oh my God. And then you tagged me. You're like, bro, we can't miss this one. I'm like, I'll quit my job. I'll quit my life. Like, just I'm going. Yeah. I will not miss it.
So Parkway Drive, I think we're all three a fan of.
Yes.
Hatebreed,
Sure.
obviously. I mean, that's a
Love
given.
Hatebreed.
Black Dahlia Murder. I know you're a huge fan of them, Twan.
Yes, I love. They're just a thrash metal band, right? So they're like, for me, they're the kings of like some sub genre with
Sure.
Municipal Waste and a couple of those other bands, kind of like that.
And they're not a new band. They've been
They've been doing it.
Yeah,
for a while.
they're
Doing
kind
it
of
a
old
while.
heads. When I seen them, I was like, okay, y'all
Yeah,
rip
they're-
it then, old fellas, but they kill.
Yeah, the last album they put out was one of my top albums of last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't gotten into them, but when I've seen them and heard them, I've always enjoyed them. A band that's opening the show that I really like, and I'm not sure if you guys are into
Yeah,
them
they're
or
making
not.
waves in the game right now.
Man, stick to your guns.
Yeah.
They cross category. There's some maybe emo-ish type sounds, and there's definitely some sing-songy type parts. But they actually have one of the best breakdowns, one of my favorite breakdowns, and that might be a good subject to hit in future podcasts.
Yeah, is breakdowns. Yeah,
Breakdowns.
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll do that one next time for sure. But Stick to Your Guns is one of the newer bands that I really like. Another couple that newer-ish, but been around a little bit. Code Orange.
Yeah,
Code
hard.
Orange.
Yep.
Freak. They come
Reba
hard.
is
man.
amazing. Yeah.
Live, they're intense live too.
Yeah. Shout out Code Orange.
Been into them for a while. I think they've grown in popularity here recently with kind of the knock loose type tours
Yes.
and those types of things. But they've been at it a while too. Had some lineup changes and instrument changes and stuff like that. But man, they're a heavy band that I really like.
Yeah.
And then the other one on my list, as far as newer bands go, it's Moontooth. Now, if you haven't heard Moontooth, I don't know if people would consider them metal. But if you listen to them vocally, it's melodies and a lot of melodies and a lot of melodic singing. But if you listen to their guitars, man, they absolutely riff. So if you haven't heard of Moontooth, definitely check out.
Are they
Moontooth.
younger cats?
They are.
They're okay. So they're younger cats. Like Code Orange is young.
Yes.
They're youngsters.
Probably around the same age.
Okay.
Is my guess.
Gotcha.
But Moontooth is a band I really enjoy. So if you haven't heard them, check them out. What are some newer bands that you guys like that are on your list? Dale, you want to go ahead?
Love Ghost Inside. Shout out to the homegirl, Alicia Baker. Introduced me to him years ago. And
Nice.
then, love you, Alicia. And then when I saw them come out open for Parkway Drive at Pops, blew me away live. Killed it. And then they had their T-shirts. I regret not buying one now because they quit touring for years. And one of their T-shirts had Tupac's mugshot, and it said The Ghost Inside under it. Nice. Instead, I bought, being a fanboy, I bought 2 Parkway Drive shirts because I love them, like Winston McCall, like, marry me, please. Kidding. But
Not really.
Yeah, but not really.
And were they the band that had the van wrecked where some people really
yeah.
got injured and hurt and maybe even...
Yeah, and then like on, I don't know if it's their most recent album, I'd have to look it up. It's got the song White Flag on it, I believe. But they have the recording of the dude, one of their buddies or whatever that they're rolling with. And you can hear him saying, this guy next to me, blah, blah. And he's like, they got fucking smoked with like truck tires and shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, bad deal. So then they shut it down for a bit. And then now they did like last year with Code and everything, did like some one-day recording type thing. But I love them.
Yeah.
So good. Good message too. Love Ghost Inside.
And is there anybody else on your list?
Upon a Burning Body. And then I was saying August Burns Red recently. They have just taken my heart, dude. And as we was talking about breakdowns, their intros are breakdowns. Like if you think Distance is Darkness from As I Lay Dying, almost every song from August Burns Red is just scary, eerie, loud guitar intro and rah, rah, rah in your face. And I'm awake and I'm like, okay, let's get it. Like they fucking pack a punch. And I love that. So yeah, August Burns Red, Upon a Burning Body.
Who's on your list? Some newer type bands that you really enjoy lately?
Live and mostly on Beartooth. That band is really good out of Ohio.
Shout out to Ohio. They're bringing it.
Yeah.
They sing a lot. They have some really good catchy choruses. The dude can scream too. Again, the lyrics are really good. I really like a lot of their lyrics to their songs, which that's for me. That's where you grab me first and foremost. Is,
I feel like their vocalist is really talented.
Yep.
He can do a lot of different things. And I also feel like they're good songwriters. The way they construct the song, the way they hook you in, even heavy, you can have hooks, right?
Right, sure.
Some of their breakdowns are just really, really well crafted. I love the song "Bad Listener." I love a lot of their stuff. But that's a band I definitely newer type band that I enjoy as well.
really like them. On a different spectrum, I guess. The band Ghost.
Yeah.
They're kind of poppy a little bit, but they are metal.
Sure.
I mean, down to the core of it. Their whole gimmick thing they've got and stuff like that. I usually don't go for that, but man, I've seen them like 3 or 4 times live now, and you will leave that show smiling every time.
Nice.
I actually saw them at the Peabody, and it was another one of those, this is a perfect set list.
Yeah.
And they just sound so good anytime I've seen them. I've seen them in a field in Louisville.
Yeah.
And then I've seen them,
at the Peabody.
At the Peabody, and I've
Opera
seen them.
House, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those bands you see when you leave, you're like, I'll never miss them when they're around. If they come to my city, I'll go.
All good stuff, fellas.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, I love metal.
Dude, it's life.
Metal is life.
I'm telling you. If you wake up sad, if you wake up happy, you wake up mad, whatever, just put on some metal and just life is great again. I promise.
That's kind of what gets me sometimes from being labeled a metalhead or people that not into metal or don't understand metal.
Why are you so angry?
Yeah, I think it's anger,
Yeah.
and they think, you can't be happy and listen to metal. Dale, you have actually one of my favorite things I've ever seen on Snapchat. It's, I don't know if you've seen this, Twan, or not. I actually messaged you when I saw it, but it's, I guess you guys are maybe out hanging with some girls.
Yeah.
And you're riding in a car and you're in the back seat.
Just left a float trip. Yeah.
You're filming the car.
Yes.
And the girls, and I've been here because, and that's why I liked it so much, but they could not be more bored and like turn this off.
Yes.
And you and your buddy are just ripping it
It's
off.
Lamb of God, brand new Lamb of God. Jason McVeigh is driving, headbanging. Derek Padgett's in the front just singing, going so hard. We got like 4 girls in the middle of the van, miserable, and then me in the back like going ape shit. Hilarious.
I think I even texted you. I was
yeah,
like, man,
you did. You said I love them already.
I was like, your buddy needs to read a room. But because those girls were miserable.
Hating it. Like head in their lap, like, oh my God.
Nice. If you haven't heard any of these bands, check them out and show them your love. With COVID and all this touring stuff being weird right now, buy their merch, man. That stuff means a lot. I don't know how some of these bands survived, and probably a lot of them actually didn't when they have no touring for so many years. I feel like we're getting back to that, this summer, hopefully full force, coming soon. But go buy their merch. That means a lot to those bands and to their livelihood. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We're going to do this again for sure.
Hell yeah. I'm ready.
This is the Vulgar Display of Podcast, and thanks for joining in.
Now tuned into the motherfucking greatest.